Pokemon is an incredible series and one of my favorites to sit back with. Whether enjoying Pokemon Red on my Game Boy or Pokemon Shield on my Switch, I can always sit back and have a great time with my team of 5 Weepinbells and 1 Pichu. Unfortunately, the series can be, at times, controversial, especially on Twitter, but in the end, everybody buys at least 4 copies of every new Pokemon game on the day of release. So, how controversial can it really be? Luckily, something that has never seemed to be too controversial on the internet or in reality is the music from the series. Other than the occasional Lavender Town syndrome, Pokemon has always been able to create some of the best music in video games. The grandiose adventures, walking in a straight line for 10 routes and Sword and Shield, always accompanied by an incredible soundtrack. I mean, we could just sit here and listen to the battle theme from each game, and I'd have convinced most that are listening right now that the music from Pokemon is top-notch. But I'm going to assume that most people watching this video already know how incredible Pokemon music is and can be. And I'm not here to try and convince you of that. I'm here because I received a call to civic duty. My good friend Thomas approached me one day with a very strong opinion. As we continued texting about Pokemon soundtracks, an idea hit Thomas in the face. He was going to listen to all the Pokemon soundtracks and prove that new Pokemon games had uninspired music. The first song to regale my ears was a classic from Sword and Shield, Motostoke. A great song from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, this is just a great song, and it's from Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is obviously not uninspired, this is great. And I realized while I was listening to the massive bells trail in and out of Motostoke that I needed to show Thomas that he was wrong. My journey had started. I was going to listen to every single Pokemon song. If we were to look at this task as a spreadsheet, maybe count by game, it becomes more obvious how much time and effort I had to put into this. Let's figure out how many songs are in each game. It looks threatening now, but I'm sure there can't be many songs in each, right? Like, there's 30 or something in the Game Boy games, like 100 or so in the newer titles, right? Well, if we're counting, we might as well show how many there are in each now, and then worry about classifications later. There are 50 songs in Red, Blue, and Yellow, 122 in Gold, Silver, Crystal, 135 in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, 67 in Fire Red, Leaf Green, 205 in Pokemon Diamond, Purple, Platinum, 270 in Purple, Silver, 180 in Black, White, 20, 196 in X, Y, 149 in Ruby, Sapphire, 169 in Moon, 158 in Sword and Shield, 172 in Sword. Grand total, 2,135 songs. I have a lot of work to do, and as of writing this part of the script, I had listened to about 100 songs, just while I was writing the script, up to that point. I hadn't even made it out of Gold and Silver. Reading this now and saying it into the mic, I have finished all of them. And wow, it has been a long endeavor. Josh, Tingley, Mr. Jungle, you may be asking, why does any of this matter? It doesn't. But before you click out of the video, I'll show you how I'm going to make it matter. For the sake of the video, I'm not just listening to upwards of 3 days, 40 to 50 hours of music for the fun of it. I'm listening with a goal in mind. This goal to create the ultimate classification of Pokemon game soundtracks. I want to show the world which games have the best music, the worst music, the most nostalgic music, and iconic music, everything. They'll be judged on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being absent of any value, and 5 being the peak. Every single track is going to have 3 things it's judged on. Nostalgia, the rose-tinted glasses. These are, we got some examples of solid 5s, Lavender Town or Victory Road from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. The second one is just objective, this is a good song. A few examples of flat-out good Pokemon songs, Slumbering Weald from Sword and Shield, or Battle Team Skull leader Guzma. I'm not a pro, so this is all purely opinion. I don't know anything about music theory, so it's just don't cry, I'll cry back, it'll be confusing for all of us. And finally, the third category, Pokemon Bliss. This category is best for songs that are just like Pokemon. They are Pokemon. Cynthia's theme from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, or Battle Champion Red from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. If it does well in Pokemon Bliss, it just feels like Pokemon music. I was smart enough to go through and put every single Pokemon song into a list format in a spreadsheet. It took a long time, and my hands cramped up a lot. I didn't immediately start listening to these soundtracks. I had to go through and list every Pokemon song down, right? I had to take an obscene amount of time for that. It took 2 days of just, it took like 6 hours max, but that was because I was really lazy and I'd get like 300 songs in, my fingers would be cramping, and I was in quarantine, so I'd start watching the Boondocks. Anyways, after writing everything down, there was nothing to stop me from doing this. Hopefully I could finish listening to all the music before Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out. Spoiler alert, I didn't. There were 2 Pokemon games that came out in the time period it took me to finish this, and a third one that was announced and is almost out in the next month. After a couple of hours, I could feel myself losing connection to reality. I was beginning to dream in Pokemon music. My calculus test had Cynthia's theme playing over it. I rode a bike, and I could hear 8 different versions of the cycling theme all mashing together violently as I crashed to the ground, screaming out, asking if there was really a god who could save me from this reality I'm living in. When I finished listening to the last song on my massive spreadsheet, I took a break. I stepped away from the Pokemon music for a minute. The last theme I listened to was Unknown Theme 2 from Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The 2135th song I had listened to was a theme that wasn't for the Pokemon Unknown like it sounds. It was just a theme that didn't have anything it was attached to in the Diamond and Pearl remake soundtrack. After spending 2 to 3 hours every night for weeks on Pokemon music, I was finally able to sit back and enjoy the data that I had collected. What? There were only 80 that were truly despicable. Like 80 songs that I just did not want to listen to at all. They were the worst of the worst, songs I would never listen to on purpose. Anything that involved the Festival Plaza and Sun and Moon, most of the Pokestar Studio themes, they were the pits. There are a lot of songs that are really mediocre. Around 3/4 of the music on my spreadsheet sit with 3s average scores all around. The most middle points. And then we'll focus on those that are the best of the best. The songs that rocked my soul and got 5 out of 5 in almost all the categories. Songs like Those Who Inherit Eternity, which is Zinnia's theme from Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. She was the edgy chick with the Rayquaza, and stole all the Mega Rings. And I sat down for a long time listening to this song because it's just so good. And then a weird standout, the Wi-Fi Connection from Pokemon Black and White, which is a rearrangement of the Mystery Gift theme from Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I didn't know until I listened to it during this and realized, oh, that sounds super familiar. Why? Of course, it's the same thing but rearranged. It's really good, and it's super heavy on nostalgia without being an obvious, like, rah, nostalgia, because of the Fire Red and Leaf Green rearrangement it's got going on there. The Lake Pokemon battle from Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. The original one from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum used to give me a heart attack every time I'd run into Mesprit in the wild, but the remade theme feels a lot more playful, which I think is fitting for Mesprit since it kind of just runs around the region, like messing with you until you catch it. Whereas, the original sounded like Mesprit was gonna come up at you with a knife. Now, let's look at which game has the best. Like, which game is the best, musically speaking? Which game had the highest scores out of all of them? Pokemon Black and White 2, according to all my very official and real research, has the best music. With the Elite Four theme, that's literally perfection, and the best Elite Four theme out of the entire, like, just the best. If it weren't for Pokestar Studios, this would be a perfect soundtrack. But, like, you look at Pokestar Studios and you have Theme of Glory, Theme of Defeat, Theme of Invasion, Theme of Success, Theme of Elimination. And they're like these 3-second, like, da-da-da-da, for your little, like, comic book action hero movies, and those, less cool. It's so good. It's so good. I love this game, actually. There might be a little bit of bias here. So yeah, this was a long and arduous task that resulted in about a 16-minute video. But I love music, and some of these songs are definitely getting added to my stream playlist. I can't help feeling like I forgot about something though. I'm sure it's nothing.